Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Thursday, 31st of October, 2019, Nevada Commission for Reconstruction of the V&T Railroad Commission to order. Will everybody rise for Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Denny Dodson,
Here.
Nick Morano,
Here.
Stan Jones,
Here.
Marshall McBride,
Here.
Mike Santos.
Here.
Chairman, everyone is here and accounted for.
Thank you. Okay, for possible action, approval of the agenda. Before we get to that, I want to table item number 6. So can we have a approval of the agenda, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, with that change of removing item number 6, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Have a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Did we want to do an explanation?
Oh, yeah, we can.
I asked that it be tabled until we have the audit completed, and we can address it in November, December. You do have a copy of my contract, though, up there in your packets.
Thank you. Item number 2, is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 4 for possible action, approval of the meeting minutes for September 26, 2019.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for the meeting September 26, 2019.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moved. Now, item number 5 for discussion and possible action, the financial report, Elaine.
Okay, so as you all know, we do run a report. Do you have a copy of that? I think I gave mine away. Okay, I gave my copy away. Can I borrow somebody's copy? Oh, cool. All right, so this is the budget versus actual, and we are, now that we have the budget input, even into our own QuickBooks system, we can show you where we're at year to date. As far as our budget, we're keeping close eye on expenses as we move forward. So we've completed the STEAM season, and the high marks there in the regular season, we were at, so the budget was $381,000. We were at $333,000. What is not showing there is May and June. So May and June being part of our fiscal year, all we have to make up is $50,000, and we're going to do that easily. That meets budget. So just so that you know, no alarm there. We are at 87%, and that the rest of our season is made up in May and June, since we are in a fiscal year. The Polar Express is doing very well. We're less than halfway there, but our momentum is in the upward movement. VIPs trains are practically sold out, so we're concentrating on the rest of the tickets, and it's going very well. Let's see, I think that's about it for now. As far as our revenue, everything looks good. As far as expenses are concerned, we have our high-end, the larger numbers that you can see by reviewing the budget versus actual. Let's see here, the event expenses, you'll see at 83%. That's Polar Express. Those are our cups and mugs, things that we order way in advance. And so we're at 83%, very normal. Event expenses, those all related to the wine trains or the Toast of the Canyon trains. We're finished with those, very normal. Let's see what else we have. Miscellaneous expenses, We're at like 78%. That's mainly because we ordered our wheels for our prototype rail bike. And Mike will report on that when we come to that report. Let's see here. Other things, 93%. Our media, our online social media advertising, that's for our regular season. And so we're at 94% for that. So we'll have to watch that really closely when we get into spring and start looking at our kickoff season. 206. Oh, traditional advertising expenses, that 206% or 42,000. That's our website. That was our new website and our photo shoot and filming. We knew that was going to happen, that we'd have to compensate in other areas, and that will easily be done. I think, unless you guys have any other questions as far as those line items, everything looks normal. And we are right now at $201,470 in the black as of October 30th, yesterday.
Any comments? Go ahead.
Just one question, Elaine. On the casual labor, is the budgeted number just way too low, or did we have something unforeseen?
Yes, good question. That is, we pay $25 spent for whenever a historical reenactor shows up on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday train. And we've had, on average, I was budgeting, thinking maybe 2 or 3 would show up. We have 6 to 8 show up, and they're a great advantage. They're great for the experience when we're turning back time and people show up. There are greeters and there are hosts, and they mingle with the crowds, but they come dressed and they're ready to work. So it's $25 for them to show up and perform those duties, which are hosting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I do think they really add to the experience. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Any other comments from the board? Any public comment? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please?
I don't think we need a motion. That was just a general report.
Oh, okay, all right. Item number 7, for discussion and possible action, approval for professional service contracts with the B&T Railroad Commission be reviewed for possible revisions and update prior to the approval of our next year's budget.
Chairman Jones, before
Yes.
we get started there were some other line items or sub-items under line item 6, and that's the ticket sales report and then also the financial progress report by Hugh Gallagher.
You? Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Hugh Gallagher, Story County Comptroller, and there is progress. It has been slow. Again, my apologies to Elaine and the board for the manner of which all of this thing has came to being, but as of Monday, it is in the auditor's hands, Steele and Associates, so you should have a pretty good report. And we had a few hiccups in the first quarter with, so Story County had to pay about 2 or 3 voucher periods out of the Story County bank account. That'll be rectified, and as soon as that entry comes forth, we'll be able to give you good current statements for the rest of this year. So it was, I've never been through anything like this in my life, but it has been certainly a process, and it continues to be a process, even with the Story County financials. It's any new migration, it just went very badly. And we spent a lot of time trying to fix stuff, but it's in the auditor's hands now, and I anticipate a good report, good healthy report for the commission.
Any comments? Elaine? Any public comment? Okay. You want to talk about, thank you, Hugh. You want to talk about the ticket sales now?
Well, they were also included in the report for 2020, but since that report came out, we've sold more. We're at 380,000 for Polar Express. And again, our regular season did well, and we foresee meeting and beating our projection for fiscal year 2020 for the STEAM season.
Thank you. Okay, now number 7. I'm recommending that we review all of our contracts. Some of them have only been updated with signature and date. Some of them are 10 years old or older. And I think before we do our next year's budget, it's time to renew some of these contracts, take a look at them. And I'd like to have the board approval to continue to forward with that.
So, Mr. Chairman, what's the timeline for putting together the next year's budget?
In March. We always have our budget ready by March.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead. Oh,
Any-
I just had one
go
quick
ahead.
question to the chairman. I mean, I'm all for the idea of looking at it. How would the process work? Would it be the chair review? How would we do
My
that?
thoughts would be, we got to involve Michael Rowe, our attorney,
Certainly.
myself, Elaine,
Treasurer?
and Mike Santos, our treasurer.
Okay. Okay, so it would be the,
And we would make the recommendations back to the board.
okay. Thank you.
Any, do you have a question?
This would be, Mr. Chairman, more or less a follow-up from kind of some of our discussion in one of our last meeting, where we talked about this, but it kind of got pushed to the next.
Right.
So really what you're looking for is just to go ahead and approve you to go ahead and to start negotiating with Tom? Is that what it boils down to?
Well, that's part of it. We got Elaine's
or-
contract, we've got Gabe's, we got a whole
Argentum.
bunch.
All the contracts? Yeah, well, I would assume, yeah, now is the time to do it before you start getting into budget, certainly.
And to make another point, for example, we've, Gabe, he's been on month to month. This year, Ken was month to month. There was not an updated and renewed contract from last year to this year. So everything's been running month to month. Mike, do we have a contract with you, or you're just ongoing?
Yeah, there's a contract, but it's, geez. I negotiated it with Marv when he came back on the commission,
100 years ago.
so it hasn't been looked at by the commission in a long time.
So that.
We haven't discussed it.
Yeah, and that's, there was a certain line or statement about yours is kind of like an ongoing consistency type of a program, but a contract wouldn't hurt. And, but basically, the commission has no employees. You have contract employees. And so, and even our contracts vary. We discussed the fact that there are some that have a lot of detail, and there's others that are very vague. It would be good to have some type of professional look at the contracts along with Mike to see if maybe there's things in the contracts that the commission themselves need for your protection and for, just put it this way, each one is designed by the contractor themselves. And then it goes through me and then to you all. This way we can say, okay, what is that the commission would like to see in these contracts before and we know there are certain items that need to be addressed in every single contract.
It's probably a question for Mike, and not that I'm a proponent of going out to any type of a RFP, but are we bound by any of that with any of these type of contracts to put them out every so often? Or as a professional service, can we just renew it if we all seem fit to move forward?
Professional services contracts are exempt from the Local Government Purchasing Act, Chapter 332. So you can do a sole source negotiation.
Great. Great, thanks.
Any public comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion then, please.
I'll make the motion. I make a motion that Chair Jones, along with Elaine, we give them approval to look at all professional service contracts with the V&T Railway Commission to be reviewed for possible revisions and updates prior to the approval of our 2020 budget.
Motion, we have a second.
I'll second your motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nay, so passed. Number 8, is Tom coming, do you think, Elaine, or not?
He'll be here late, so we'll just,
Okay, we'll table it. Number 9, Mike?
Okay, rail bike update. So currently, our prototype has been built, and I'll pass around some pictures of it. It has been built with the wheels. Jim has stated to Elaine that within the next couple of weeks, at the beginning of November, he'd like to come out and bring the bike and have it tested on our track. He's currently waiting for the stiffeners. They have been shipped out of Colorado through Rail Bikes. I think he'll probably be getting them anytime soon here. So he's waiting for the stiffeners to arrive. Once they arrive, Jim will put them together, and then, like I said, he's going to transport the bike up here for us to test. Let's see, meanwhile, Jim's in contact with a gentleman from France who also builds wheels. These wheels, because of how they're built, the composite that they use, they don't need the wheel stiffeners. However, he does have them available for us, the stiffeners, if we need them, so that's another resource that we have. Jim's actually thinking about going to France and taking a look at them, so he's pretty serious about this venture.
and we're not paying for his travel, by the way.
And that's about all I have. So right now, we're just waiting. Jim's working this whole weekend, and then he said he has the next couple of weeks off. So once he gets those stiffeners, puts them on the bikes, he's going to put it on a flatbed trailer and transport it out here. And like I said, hopefully it's in the next couple of weeks so that we can get it on the track prior to any weather flying, so we can test it.
Thank you. Any comments? No comments?
No.
Okay.
Looks good, just might need a cup holder. Cold beer.
I was looking too to,
Gin.
I didn't see a motor on that thing either.
Bucker gin.
I didn't see a motor either, Nick. I think they're holding that off for you to see if you can pedal out of the canyon with that one.
Pedal back up.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Item number 10 for discussion only, marketing update by Argentum.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. For the record, my name is Molly Ellery with Argentum Partners. So quick update, because obviously the main focus is Polar Express and we have a lot of exciting things happening there. But just kind of looking back at the last month, everything's remained steady, if not up, increased slightly. But one thing that we did notice lately was that 30% of our visitors to our website are coming through our Facebook page. So we're seeing like those referrals coming through, which is a change from what we've been seeing previously in terms of website traffic. So just wanted to report that. As per usual, which we're very happy about, our e-blasts perform very well. We see quite a bit of engagement there, so we'll continue to use that method into the Polar Express season. As you'll see, we did have a Polar Express e-blast already that did quite well. Prior to Polar Express, we've already had and just in the last month, we've had a good bout of earned media. But obviously, we expect that to be much greater into Polar Express. So the Polar Express press release has gone out, and we've already started pitching for the start of the season. To just in the last week, we've already set up 4 different interviews that we're coordinating on times, and those are just the ones that we've nailed down initially. We have several media buys that we've placed that we are going to be leveraging as well for additional interviews or airtime, as well as on-site media promotions and having the stations come out for mornings live right before the kickoff of polar season. So we have a lot of moving pieces happening there that we're really excited about. We do have the billboard going up in November, so that'll be up for the entire month in the heart of Reno. And then for our November 15th train, we have several media partners that have agreed to attend the train or to attend the ride with us from varied between the 3 departure times. Currently, we're at a count of about 10 different media partners that'll be attending. And then we've reached out to several different elected officials, and several of them have said, yes, they're coming. They're just not sure which time yet. So we'll be excited to see all of them join us and expect that to be a very successful kickoff debut. On a bit of a separate note, and I didn't bring it with us today, but we are really excited to share with you all that our combined efforts, so with the help of our board, of Elaine, and then everything we've been able to do by working with you, we received a Silver Spike Award at the Public Relations Society of America Reno event last week for overall campaign. So the overall campaign, it's pretty much the biggest category at the award ceremony, and the Silver Spike it's the equivalent of a gold medal. And we were really honored to have received that award and wanted to share that with you all, and then also thank you for the opportunity to allow us to work with you. And we're excited to finish out our season and continue all of our efforts. That would be the end of my report, but of course, I'm available for questions if you have any.
Where is the billboard at in Reno?
The billboard is located right off the Spaghetti Bowl. I don't remember the cross streets, but it's right next to the Grand Sierra Resort.
And that's a digital board?
So it is a digital, so we have that running, but it could also do static as well. We chose for
Yeah.
digital.
Do we have, is that creative all for Polar Express on that?
It is. It's the creative that that Rail Events provides us, but we
Got
made
it.
sure it has our
Right.
phone number and our website on there. They did not approve any of our photography for our print or posted advertising, but they did approve our photography for the website, for e-blasts, and for paid social media. So a little bit of gift there.
Well, and with the congratulations to you guys, that's great. I know what those are cool. I know Virginia City's gotten several of those throughout the years, and it's a great pat on the back. Congratulations to the team. But with that, back to the Polar Express, on that, you said they're driving it to our website. Can we change just a suggestion maybe, I haven't looked at it for a little while, but change that cover. It's easy to change the main cover on the website.
It is. So one of the roadblocks I would say that we have with Rail Events is that if we were to put up a brand new display page, we would have to get prior approval through them, and they suggested not doing it at all because it is such a strenuous process.
So-
However, the images and the video we can change, and we're working on getting some video with the help of Elaine that we can
Right.
update that main footer with, and then we're updating the photos as well. Elaine is also in the process of a more specific polar photo shoot to get some additional assets.
Great, yeah, and I just thinking as it from a consumer standpoint, you're being directed to go there and you get there and you get our regular page, you don't see Santa Claus. So it's like, if we could change that, but I would think that they would let us do that, but.
Yes. And in fact, last night, we held a photo shoot until 8:30, and we brought in the full cast. We had some beautiful staging done that with the idea that the passenger, the possible customer is looking at that page and making it, them want to be there. And we had a photographer come in that could do a quick turnaround so we could expedite and have these up next week. And it is, our last photo shoot that we did everything, the wine train, the regular train, the Polar Express, but it was in the middle of summer. It was light outside, and everybody looked really hot, and we didn't have a full cast. So this next week, you're going to see a very bright, vibrant Polar Express display.
Cool. And are we still meeting, or on marketing calls? Are we kind of off for a bit, or are we still on Wednesdays? We're still on. Okay, I know I missed the last one, I think. So, okay, good, thanks.
Mainly just Molly and I talking to each other, so.
Any other comment? Thank you, Molly. Congratulations on the award. Like you too. Yeah. Item number 11, managers report for discussion.
I just have one item to report on right now, and that is that we did do this parking lot this last, before we started off the steam season, but there was some additional striping that needed to be added and some arrows, things that needed to be done before Polar Express. We're going to start on that again next week and have more of a defined area and directions for driving in the middle of the night through the parking lot. So that's getting finished here next week with the help of RMAC.
Any comment? Good. Indoor isn't here, so there'll be no engineer. Oh, sure. Gabe, you gonna speak for the engineer today?
Sure.
Okay. Come on up. Come up and identify yourself, please.
So, not much to report. We tamped up Oberman. We raised it up to where it's supposed to be. And then, we tamped up Hayward's as well. And, we're just waiting on Tom to dump ballast. And I talked to him today. He said possibly next week we'll be able to get his train and a ballast cart in order to dump the ballast. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
How many is it one carload or how many?
It'll probably be like 2 or 3. Yeah, and if he gives us the possibility to dump more, we want to dump more, because there's a few curves that are pretty light on ballast. And then I got my ballast regulator up and running, so any ballast that we put down, we could smooth out.
And we've already ordered the ballast. It's sitting there in a pile,
it's-
right?
Yes, it's all sitting at Gold Hill in piles. So it's nothing, just to rent a backhoe and load it up.
Thank you.
Got it? None of them?
So Stan, on the general manager's report, and it relates to what Gabe's working on, we were able to go through the emergency management division and the grants that Nick was originally working on. We did meet with Sue Coyote and her assistant, and we got direction on what still needed, they still needed to have. And Stan went with me, as they could not speak with me alone. It had to be with a commissioner, since I'm a paid-for consultant. So they needed a commissioner there. Of course, Nick, you were in Kentucky? Or Tennessee.
Nashville.
Nashville even. So he was in Nashville. But your work, they showed, they were showing us the documents from before. There were just a couple light items. I assigned Tiffany to follow up. Gabe took some photographs. We're submitting those today, so we should see our rebate or grant reimbursement coming back to us soon, and it'll be about $25,000. So that will finally be,
Great.
done.
Everybody should get an opportunity to visit that office. You talk about depressing. They've got 3 walls. I don't know how many cases pending. I don't know how you ever get, and some of them date back to 2017 on the floods, and they still haven't approved it. So we felt very fortunate to get in and out.
Yeah, ours was like this.
Yeah.
Other people's were like this in stacks.
Thank you, Gabe. Michael, you're up.
The usual administrative stuff with reviewing the agenda and the minutes and working with Elaine on that. But the most significant additional time was monitoring the Toast of the Canyon incident to make sure that it gets properly reported to our carrier, and keeping an eye on that as it works its way through the process.
Pardon me, was everybody aware there was an incident? Okay.
And at this point, it's in Tom's hands, and it's going through his insurance. So we opened a case with our insurance, but it was not necessary. Tom's insurance is the primary, and it took over.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And he also reported to the FRA, the Federal Railroad Association, on the incident.
Well, under the operating agreement, his insurance is the primary carrier and ours is the secondary. And the agreement requires that he exhaust his insurance first. And then if we need to, we can go to the pool, but I don't think it's going to be necessary.
Other comments? You anticipate Tom coming or not?
He hasn't sent another email, so, or text. Let me see if, maybe I can put him on speakerphone? Would that be okay?
Fine with me.
Call Tom Gray?
Calling Tom Gray.
Is that legal? Can we do it this way?
I could hear that.
Okay.
Just put it in
We've
front
done
of
it
the
with board
microphone.
members before, at commission meetings.
Hi, Lane.
Hi there. So how far are you from the community center?
I'm about 15 minutes.
Okay, well, did you want to just do a phone report? We've,
Whatever you want. I mean, I'm just going to be there in a few.
oh, is
Are the
that,
meetings still going on? It's
no,
going to be going on till 2, right?
oh, no, we're at our last agenda item. And,
Oh, you are?
yeah,
Damn.
and
Well-
it's you, but we've got you on speakerphone and I've got a mic in front of you, so if you just want to
bet.
do it over
Let me
there.
pull over.
Okay,
Then I'm going to show up anyway because I wanted to talk even after the meeting.
okay.
Here. The Bunny Ranch. Great.
That's gonna be on the minutes.
Where you're calling from.
Yeah, so on the 18, let's see where we're at. We got a federal inspection for the hydrostatic on the boiler test, and then the next day we did an internal inspection with them. They have a high definition camera. They go inside, and then we put the engine back together, fill it back up. We heated it up one more time, and for our steam test, and we didn't make that, so we took it back apart for the air pump, ordered some parts for that. And then we get those, we'll fire it back up. I got one more shot before I think the weather really gets too cold, and I'll have to, just finish it up. But yeah, I still want to run it this year. Not really for you, but just try stuff out. I have a few more steam leaks I want to seal up before we heat it, and then seal it back up, and then drain it, and then open it up for the winter, and then so. We're pretty good on it. I feel comfortable with it, but we're not quite there yet. And the feds, they'll come up on a steam test, or they don't. It's they're already notified, but they don't necessarily have to be there for a steam test. I just kind of have to be comfortable with it, and then they can see it anytime during the season. It's when they come up usually and look at it.
Okay, so will you just be running the engine, or will you also be throwing some passenger cars on there to kind of feel how
Probably
she
just
feels?
the engine.
Okay.
The braking system I feel pretty comfortable with, but you never know. Yes, there's always a surprise. So
Okay. And then will she be painted so we could do a photo shoot?
yeah, we still have the tender primed and partially painted. So we still have some more time on that to finish that up, weather-wise. And so, yeah, those are the last major issues I can see. And of course, getting the 29 done, that's been drained out. And then we have our winter projects to do on that too, plus the coaches. And so they're setting up the village today. I think they're erecting some of the panels. And then we're just finished. We just shipped out Thomas here about an hour ago. So that event's over with. So we don't have any daily trains right now. So that kind of frees some of us up. And yeah, our next concentration is on the Polar Express and the Candy Cane trains and the 18 and all the stuff we got to fix, our track structure.
Any questions from the board?
And we anticipate the train for ballast next week.
Stan wanted to know if we could, we can anticipate a train for the ballast next week?
Yeah, I just talked to Gabe a few minutes ago. We've had years to do this. We should be okay next week as far as getting some more ballast out there. There's still a lot of work that they need to finish up, or I would finish up, but the steam crew was really concerned about the Haywood siding. That was their biggest concern.
Okay, well, we have Gabe here, so can you explain the Hayward siding?
Just has to be tamped up and more rock. It's got some drainage issues, I think, underneath the between the points and the frog there, down deep, so it's settling. I think
Okay.
once it's raised up, it'll be good for a while. Just needs to be finished and done.
Okay. All right, any other questions? No? Okay, so you're going to come on in, we can speak some more at the meeting or at the location?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Any other comments on the engineer, or on Tom's report? I'll repeat this when Tom gets here. You know, we've been working on this engine for over 4 years, and I think it's time we draw a line in the sand. I truly do. I think we need to say we want that train fully operational by 1 May. So marketing can have it for photo shoots and whatever, and we can plan our season. Anybody got any argument with that?
No, I concur.
I don't know if there's any line that we can draw in the sand.
No, I know what you're saying.
It's not like the auto body shops in Carson City where if you don't like one, you can go to the next one. When it comes to locomotives, I think we pretty much have to take what we
I
get.
know. I think we need to voice our displeasure or concern, whatever we want to call it.
Well, I think that Tom Gray is as frustrated as his board is that the locomotive isn't operational because, you know, he's got time constraints and labor issues just like everyone else does. So that's why I understand this board's feeling and reasoning, but I also can see it from the point of view of Tom and his operation up there.
Any other comments? Okay, let's talk about next meetings. Elaine, do you want to talk about, we're going to have to, we normally don't have meetings in November and December, but we're going to have 2 real short special meetings for budget.
right. So in November, our normal schedule would be on Thanksgiving Day, so of course we would not have the meeting on that particular day. But as soon as we know something, and Vanessa Davis with Still and Associates, when she has our budget available to us, not our budget, I keep saying that, our audit available, we do need to work on that as quickly as possible. And that's mainly because we're late on a couple of our reports, which they're aware of. They're aware that we're waiting on our audit. So, and we've committed just to getting them our detail and our audits as soon as they're available. And so that's with the state and with the special license plate auditing division. And talking with Hugh and with Vanessa, it looks like we could have that anytime in November, December. So at one point in time during those 2 months, we're going to call a meeting to approve our audit so we can finish our reporting.
So let's go to our, Denny, you have some?
No.
Let's go to our commissioners' comments. So we'll start with you, Michael.
Yeah, I just wanted to again say that I'm looking forward to seeing the prototype for our rail bike show up in the next couple of weeks to try it out on our track. And I'd also like to mention that at our last meeting, we talked about getting Elaine out to some of the service and civic clubs that we have here in town to talk to them. And I'm talking to her yesterday. I'm going to talk to a few of them and see if we can get her in the next week or so on their agenda, their meetings, to talk about the Polar Express and what's going on with the VNT.
Maybe along those lines, Mike, maybe you could check on the scheduling for NNDA too, and maybe that would be another possibility for Elaine to go ahead and speak to that group. Depending on what they have on their calendar, sometimes they have a large attendance of the local business, community.
Thank you.
So just in regards to setting a November or December meeting, do you think we'd be able to kind of put a date, at least on the calendar right now? I mean, we could do it in December if that would make it easier. I'm just worried about, I've got to travel a little bit in November for work. Then, obviously you've got the Thanksgiving holiday, and then we get into the Christmas holiday period. It might be better if we can put together a date now that we know is far enough in advance so that you would have the report that you need.
We could shoot for the first week of December, and then that would give us enough time also to catch up with our reporting with the state, the 2 state divisions that we report to, and then filing on time. So before the first of the year. So if we do it in
The 5th,
yeah, if we could try the first,
December 5th,
what do you think, December 5th? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
And what day is that?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Elaine, are any of these items that are going to be agendized, are they going to require more than one vote for approval? So that if you want anything done by the end of the year, you'd have to have 2 meetings in December. If anything that, you'd have to talk to our legal counsel. Sometimes, if it's like, at the county level, sometimes we have to vote twice.
Well, Hugh and I
items.
just spoke about that to determine. He advised me that it was just the one. The final budget. I originally thought, so do we need a meeting for our draft audit and then again for our final?
Right.
So we need the 2 meetings?
Well, it's typically done in 2 meetings because the board may have some comments about the audit or make changes, but if you're prepared to handle it in 1 meeting, I think you can.
Because usually you need a tentative budget hearing and then your final budget approval.
Yeah, but we're talking about an audit, not the budget.
Yeah, not a budget, it's
Yeah,
the
okay.
audit.
So I mean, it's the audit report. I don't know why we couldn't do that in 1 meeting.
Okay.
So it would be, Hugh and I would meet with Vanessa and go over the audit. We would make the changes then, and then if we needed Mike's input, we could always contact Mike. And of course, the treasurer should be in on that meeting as well. And then we can bring the final audit. I also had thought we needed the 2, but Hugh confirmed that it was just the 1.
Okay.
In the course of the audit, if they make a finding with which the commission disagrees, you can adopt a formal contrary position to it and get it included in the audit, just so you're aware of that.
Will we have a chance to review the audit prior to the meeting in case we do have any questions?
Yeah, it will be
Prior to
sent
the-
out with
has
as
to,
part of the board packet?
It
Yes.
has to.
And it'll be posted online for people to go and look at if they'd like. And we'll have copies at the office where they can pick them up and look at them, the general public.
So let's set a tentative, is 5 December good with everybody? Kenny?
We may have a conflict with the Carson City Board. That's the first Thursday. They'll be meeting that day as well. They tend to have shorter meetings in December. It might be okay, but it might be something in advance, so we want to make sure that we'd be able to do it that day.
We can also check into the Chamber
Or the
of
chamber.
Commerce and see if they could let us use their room.
I'm sure we could. They got 2 rooms, I'm sure we could. I'll check that for you.
All righty.
So let's tentatively say, same time, 1 o'clock?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, I would just like to say, I think we've had a great year overall. I think our staff has done an admirable job. I think the board has been very supportive, and I appreciate that. Just hope everybody has a happy holidays, and we have a huge Polar Express year.
And don't forget, you all have these, and all I need is the time that you'd like to ride, and then just send me an email and get your seats saved for you all. We do have, I might upgrade a few of you into the VIP because there's some space. And I'd like to pair people up with various VIPs. And so anyways, please give me your time that you'd like to ride on the 15th.
Shall we adjourn, or what should we do?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
One comment.
Is Tom still gonna make his way in?
He is, but I think he just wanted to talk to us on the side.
Okay.
We have a motion, second?
Second?
All approved?
Aye.
We're out of here. Thank you.
45 minutes.
57.